My name is Luke Lancaster. I was in cohort 8 and I'm a software developer at Roundingwell. So before NSS, I was a barista. I worked at Barista Parlor, a couple other shops around town, and 5 years ago, tomorrow actually, I got in a motorcycle crash, and so I broke my leg and I was laid up for a long time, and so I needed something to keep myself busy with, and a friend suggested I get a Raspberry Pi, and so I bought one of those and just started tinkering around and knew that I wasn't going to be able to go back to work as a barista full time because I can't stand up for 8 hours a day. And so I Googled Nashville software schools, and Nashville Software School was the first one that showed up. That was kind of it. I didn't know anything about software boot camps. I didn't know they were a thing. I didn't Google around any more than like one night, basically, I was setting up a board game for some friends to come over and I found NSS. I applied, then we played the board game, and that was kind of that. So that I figured if I got an NSS, I would do it, and if I didn't, I guess I would figure something else out. I don't know. I mean, it's hard. Like, you're learning a brand new skill, and I think as adults, we're really bad at making ourselves do things that we're bad at because we don't have to, because we're adults. So if we're bad at something, we just don't do it, and then you feel good about yourself. And so you're putting yourself in the situation where you don't know anything, and that's really hard. And then you're gauging yourself against your peers, who some are much better than you are because that's just how it is. And so it's just a challenge, I think, to kind of reframe that and see how far you yourself have come. So like comparing yourself, your current self against your past self. With the focus being on how to learn how to program, I was a Ruby on Rails cohort, so I learned JavaScript and then I learned Ruby on Rails, and then I went to work for Roundingwell where I write PHP every day. And so I didn't know any PHP when I started, but because I had learned 2 relatively different languages in 6 months, I was able to pick up PHP in much less time than that 6 months. You know, I could have the basics down in a couple of weeks or maybe a little bit more, because once you know a couple of things, you start seeing differences and similarities, and you see, okay, this is programming and this is specific to whatever language you're learning, which the iterative process of learning is a lot quicker each time you do that. And NSS really kind of gives you those tools to be able to perform well in those circumstances. I would also say the contacts in the community are really great. They're in cohort 20 something now, almost 30. And so there's a lot of NSS grads out there who are willing to help you out in some way, shape, or form. NSS has kind of equipped me and pushed me into this whole new field that I wouldn't have been able to get in before. And so it's given me a lot more stability because of that, which I'm grateful for. I mean, without NSS being here and kind of even believing in me, I don't know what I'd be doing. Maybe still working in a coffee shop, but I want to be here.